Hello and welcome to the Inspiring Revolution podcast. I am your host, Irene, and this season we are focused on the theme or topic, ambition. And I'm so happy to have a guest that represents all that. In front of us is
Christine.
Christine. How are you?
I'm good. How are
So
you?
we're going to get a little into that,
Yeah.
all about you. I personally know her, and probably you do, from Women Today show, and that's how we know you. But we want to go further than that. So let's start to Rudy Numa. Let's go back and start from, like, aside from Women Today, if we were to scrap those titles that you have, who do you think you just are, value wise, just as a person, in simplicity? Who is Christine?
Okay. I just did say my name first
Yeah.
because my name defines me. So I'm Christine Amira.
Mhm.
I am an inspirational. Okay, no, I need to redefine myself as a person in my values. I'm very passionate. I'm very loving. I am a happy-go-lucky, bubbly personality, and I have lots of ambition as well. And I define myself as a generational thinker. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So ambition doesn't always come naturally. And I'm saying this because I was one of those kids who had no idea who I want to become. That question was hectic for me. Oh, who do you want to be when you grow up? Others are doctor, pilot. And I was like, I don't know. Where are people getting this information from? Why are you making this decision without enough? I don't know. I was that girl. So no, it doesn't come naturally. For others, it does. Do you feel for you in your journey, you are one of those people who it came early on, later on? What is your journey towards what you kind of envision yourself to be?
Actually, I think of myself as a late bloomer. And that's why you say ambition doesn't come naturally. It came in later in life when I kept asking myself, then what's my purpose? I went through a journey as a young girl, and I don't know, I was so shy. I was always just like not withdrawn, but I loved people, I loved to play. But if you tell me to go and speak in public, I would say no, 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 never. But then later on in life, of course, a spiritual journey as well, discovering and being closer to God, I started asking myself, what is my purpose and why did you bring me to this world? I guess there are so many billions of us, and I had so many deep questions where I asked myself a lot of questions, and I had to take time basically to start analyzing myself. And with time, my confidence started growing. I started volunteering in different things here and there. I found myself volunteering in the media ministry in church. That's how I think, and I didn't even understand why and how. And then I had a bout where I had to travel and travel for work here and there. So lots of exposure here and there. And I think the journey has been on and on. I guess as we talk, we can explore different facets of it. But then a lot of ambition started now growing in me, based on now me understanding myself and what I want to do and how I want to live this life, because I thought it would be meaningless to just live and go without having done anything in this world.
Wow, that is so powerful, especially what you've shared on two things. I've highlighted two things. You said volunteering, and you also said the main question for you was, what's my purpose? Something meaningful. What is the meaningful thing I'm putting out there? But the reason I'm highlighting that is because I was listening to Joyce Meyer recently, and she shared how you can actually be successful at something pointless. And that should be your greatest fear, not fearing to, like, don't have the fear to try something. Be afraid that you're probably being successful at something so pointless. I like your question because not enough people ask themselves, what am I putting out to the world? Especially if it looks like success to them, because I have the job, I have the family, I have the what, I'm successful, it's enough, I don't care. I like that question on meaning and purpose to what you are doing. So maybe now get a little bit into you and the things that you do. I know you from the Women Today show, but what about any other thing that you're about?
Any other thing I'm about. So at the moment, I work for a German company called Vilo. Vilo, German say V for W, V for VR. So Vilo, and I'm a sustainability and marketing manager for Middle and Sub-Saharan Africa. And I also supported government and public affairs. So we call ourselves GPS satellites within the company. And that's my role on another level. And then Women Today Show, a founder and a show host. So I also run my own talks and conversations here with different women leaders. And then I also do events, and I'm trying to also make sure that we're not just having conversations, but giving people the right tools to try and have trainings to upskill women here and there on different topics. The future of work is changing and things like that, and women need to be able to have the right tools to also move forward with the time. So that's another ambition also.
Wow, and that's so like, whoa, that's a lot in its own, especially with its goals. I'm curious. You studied. I saw from your bio you studied international
International
relations, right?
relations, and then a
What
master
made
in
you get into that, or is
communications
it
and
one of those things?
development.
Uliambiwa tu ukaendanga tu ukapata later. Now you're like, oh, this actually fulfills me. What made you get into this?
Let me tell you, it's a funny journey because growing up, my dad and mom used to make me read the newspaper at home when they buy the newspaper every morning. Now you don't buy newspapers, but they
Uh,
would make me read the newspapers, and I would love and would volunteer. And even when they're not there, you'd find myself just reading out things.
so wait, you're reading for them. You stand in front
I'm
of them and
studying,
you.
no, like we could be in the car driving somewhere, so you see they've just bought on the road, and then now
Uh,
they're telling me, okay, read. So my dad is listening to the news from
through
me
you.
as
Oh my
he
gosh, that's so
as he
cool.
drives. Or it would be after church and we are sitting inside the house, the sitting room, and my dad would make me read. I don't know why, but that was just it. So growing up later, I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted to be in the media, and I decided I want to. After university, I think I stayed. That's the time I kept trying to ask myself, so what's my purpose? What? Not after high school. So what happens? What do I do? And I didn't know. So I said I want to do media, and then at the point of where we were living would be quite far from where Daystar is, because Daystar was the one that was known for mass
Yeah,
communication.
yeah.
And my parents, I think, were there like, no, I don't think Daystar is the right fit because it's too far, but there's another one on Valley Road, maybe you can try out. And then one person made a comment once and said, Yenny, you just like gossip that much. Because a journalist at that time was known
Yeah,
to
not
just
for gossip.
read the news and say, today the president was here and today this person said this and this. And that's what you want to do for people. So I changed the careers first. I decided I want to do something else. I just didn't know what. One of these evenings, I'm watching, it is a soap opera on Citizen, just random, because nothing to watch those days. And then I hear somebody saying, I studied international relations. I'm thinking, that sounds like me. I like to travel. I like people. I like diplomacy and I have ambitions on that also later in life. Then I realized, let me look online. What happens? Who those days we had the small computer at home, and so I googled, those big desktops,
Yeah.
universities with international relations, and then I saw USIU, and I signed up, and I went, and I loved it. So that's how it happened. And then the courses that were being offered at that time were so nice because then they fit into building my communication skills still, and then diplomacy, which is very key. It's like public relations, but now on a very foreign policy and country level kind of thing. Political science, so you get to understand the politics of life and how decisions are made out here on things. Humanitarian law, like there were so many different courses that fed into my knowledge to understand the world and the perceptions. And then now that brought in more and more and more and more. And then I left university, joined the first job that was not even in international relations, but the education background some actually helped me.
Yeah.
I think it did. Like it's not the way people study a course and then never use it. I think mine I used in a different way. Yeah.
And I think I'm a big believer on that one because for me, I told you I was not those people that know anything.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I like math, I like computer science. I'm doing mathematics. I just went with it. I had no reason. I didn't have like a plan or anything. But the way it has actually come in later on to help in different places in my life. Like I use the same things even when I'm like a pageant queen or when I'm doing any other thing. So I'm a big believer on that as well. Let's go back to your ambitions. We've gone through you asking the question of what purpose do I have and looking for it. So now where would you say was your aha moment of finding something that kind of like that this is why I was made? Like did you have that moment and what did it look like so that maybe our guests can also learn how they can identify theirs? Is it what people think is magic and you'll find that I was made for this? Or is it slowly just building up? What is your experience?
I'll be honest, I never really just had a day where I knew all the answers and I got the this is why and this is the aha. No, not really. But I think centering myself, having more self awareness, and then you get to have a dream or a thought about something that had never really occurred to you before, and then you get the nudge to explore it. And then slowly by slowly, when you start it, other pathways just follow. And it's just like life is leading you somewhere. And of course, you have to be so centered. And sometimes you will miss opportunities, or you'll miss trying out because then you don't know. Life has a way of leading its course. That's just how I see it. But the more you center yourself, you find your path in a more beautiful way. Because for me, I would say I finished university. The first job I got, for example, I was looking for a job. Actually, I remember graduation. I was so excited. I told my parents, "Yeah, I want a tent with more than 100 people, and let it be celebratory." And then after that, the next day, I almost was depressed. I was like, "What happens to me?" Again, I just wanted a job. That's how it started. And then I got into the first job. Somebody recommends and says it's a PR agency and all that. And I get into it, and I know nothing about public relations. That's not what I studied. But then they were dealing with different events, the press, different campaigns on health. And I'm thinking, I like that this one is a community involved project. So you start discovering things as you go, and it's more PR. And I remember at that time I started having this thing where I fast and pray at the beginning of the year. So I started fasting and praying, and I don't know even what I'm praying for, but I'm just like, God, I feel like I want more and I need more.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is my life, but I don't feel like this is the place I need to be for so long. Then I left the job. I went back to school to start my master's. When I'm in the middle of looking for opportunities while doing my master's, because then it was going to be tricky to do that job. PR is very demanding.
Yes.
So to do that job at the same time, master's would be hard, but I was trying to look for something. A lecturer actually recommended to me and told me there's a job in Rwanda. Like, what? So that's how I ended up going. You see, I didn't necessarily look for Rwanda, but somehow along the way, somebody showed me. And let me tell you, at first, the next thing was also now a PR agency, where now it's a government agency that promotes investment, promotes tourism, another topic again. But again, it's my skill that is needed in communications that I've learned in the PR job, that now I can use it in this other country. But then with it again, in the new country, new talks, people are speaking in French and Kinyarwanda. I know nothing, but I have to get so much courage from myself that every day you have to go out there and you have to stand, and sometimes you don't even know. You don't know, but you know.
Yeah.
You walk into a room and you just have to it. There's no other way, and you have to show confidence. We have campaigns like those Visit Rwanda campaign. Like that's a big campaign on the one by Arsenal, the one they've done here around. So we do local campaigns around it to try and promote it. And every time there was that showing with, there was campaigns around conservation. I'm thinking, I love this. It's around gorilla conservation. There were campaigns around tour the country. So I would start touring around. I'm like, I love. See, I got to see different aspects of me slowly by slowly. And I would see, okay, and then at some point I say, okay, now this is becoming again monotonous. And I'm thinking, why am I hungry again? This should be enough for me. I should say this is everything. And I'm traveling a lot. I'm experiencing new places. The country was peaceful and quiet and clean, and I've made new friends. And I was loving the space. The space alone was very good for me, because then I was away from everybody that I knew, and I have to make a new journey for myself. And also that made me closer to God, because who else do I have then? So I had so much dependency on that, and so my ambition is being built. The spiritual, as I pray, I feel like there's something. I not that directly, I don't have that thing of something is speaking, no. But it's just the idea that you get to have that nudge of, I want to move again. And I'm wondering why I should be. So I guess never the but just experiences continue and challenge you, and they keep going and taking you to places and traversing new land. And you just have to continue being curious. You have to continue being thirsty or hungry, if that's the word. You have to be able to want more for yourself. That's actually.
No, I love what you've shared, especially because what I'm learning from you is there's no aha moment. It's more, I like that you've said it's when you center yourself, when you're focused on understanding yourself, when you're having real conversations with yourself, because it sounds like that's also what you're talking about. Of course, you're having these conversations with God, but you also have to be so honest with yourself. Am I satisfied here? Who am I? Do I like this? Do I not like this? And that's where you kind of end up finding your purpose. And then ambition continues to grow because you start discovering, this is who I am. I like this. I don't like this. I'm good at this. And then it starts growing. I can do this. I'm really good at this. Okay. That's really amazing to hear as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I have another question for you. Ambition and money. So there's this money gap that's there. You are ambitious. Maybe you want, especially maybe you can tell us even when you're trying to start your passion project, as you called it, Women Today. So you have this ambition, but you probably need money for the videographer, the editing, the what, the makeup, the everything, so that your set is actually mwah, and you're able to have that ambition, that you have that perfect, I'm gonna start this thing that's gonna be beautiful and everyone, so let's talk about that money gap, that sometimes you need finances to finance your ambition, but you don't have them and you don't want to give up. How did you kind of manage this?
I can hear you talk and I'm just laughing because I I had, ambition comes, and that means you have a desire to do something out of your ordinary comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you overthink it, you will not do it. And that's something that...
Please repeat. For the ones on the back, repeat that statement.
If you overthink it, you will not do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you how Women Today started. The first time I was in Rwanda at that time, I've had the practice of doing it in this way and this way. But then I'll start with the story of Rwanda. So today is the first day I'll actually say how Women Today started.
Okay, you had it here first, guys.
I was sleeping and I dreamt, literally dreamt that I'm in a conversation with someone. It's a lady, and it's a podcast, like looking a set like the way we have here. And I wake up and I'm like, what's that? And then next day again, I dream same. I'm like, what is that? And then I told a friend, and the friend I told, interestingly, was the one person. So what I was doing when I was in Rwanda, part of the job in communication was handling a social media account for RDB, Rwanda Development Board, and Visit Rwanda, and all those campaigns you were doing. So would have to be at every press conference that is happening, being organized by them, when visitors are coming in or out. And we'd have to travel and we'd do everything. So I had known this photographer so well because he used to work for a local media house. I told them, I was like, good morning, how are you? I'm fine. I was like, I slept well. Then I said, but today I had a dream that was so funny that I was talking to somebody on set and it was around women empowerment and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I can record it for you. Let me tell you, that's as simple as it happened.
Wow.
But we didn't have cameras. We didn't have, you see, all he was doing was using the camera that is belonging to the company, the media house. So what we decided to do was so he borrowed a friend a camera. Why I'm laughing is I remember the setup. So we were sitting and I asked Marriott Hotel. And you see, you have an ambition, you think I want to make it beautiful.
Yes.
So I went and I asked Marriott Hotel in Kigali, I want space to do this and this. They believed in my vision. They gave me space. They said, here you are.
Wow.
But it was a big space and we hadn't thought through many details. And then I had asked a friend, can I ask your boss to be part of my interview? She said, I'll even ask for you. And the lady agreed. And that was my first interview. Let me tell you, the set was so funny. The man has to run from this side to the other side, record my face. And then the camera is not there. We were not using iPhones. We were not using iPhones. He didn't have the best camera. The lighting was not good because it's outside. It's a big space. We had not thought through so many things. But we started. And I put out my first video.
Yeah.
And of course, I had to pay the guy, but not that time because it's a friend. It's more of lunch here and there. But we started as shady as a video would have been and the sound. But the guy tried editing and helping friends. And I had to make friends with all the other journalists here and there. But that's just how it started. So the journey continues again when I'm in Kenya. And all my content got lost. That's what so one of these startup grind in Kigali came and they had seen my show and they had just the way you invited me, they wanted me to go, but now talk in terms of an audience. I went dressed up in my heels and I'm looking good. I've left everything in my car downstairs and I've gone upstairs to go talk. I get into my car. I mean, I leave when the event is over. I come back and I can still see glass. Windows have been broken down from my car, and the laptop and all that content that was inside is gone. I have to start from square one with all the.
Oh
I had
my.
collected a bit of like 10 interviews, and then
Yeah.
here it goes. I have to start again. I was depressed. I had already posted maybe 1 or 2 videos, and that was not enough. But
Yeah.
I saw so much encouragement from people, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Oh, okay. So later on in Kenya, I started it again, and still, not that I have money. I have come back, some savings, and I've gone back to USIU. I didn't finish the masters at that time. I've gone back again to continue the masters. So I've tried again, and I've gotten the job now at Vilo to now handle. It was the East Africa platform still before now being promoted. So I still don't have much because even my bargaining power when I got the job is actually need the job. So
Yeah.
whatever you pay, yeah. But it was okay.
Yeah.
So I'm able to pay fees and all that, and then again in my class there's a person who runs what it's like a shop that sells cameras and things like that, but then they also have a background in videography and photography. And I tell them about it and they see it and they say, I can support you. I have young people who looking for jobs here and there, and I teach them about cameras. So, and it's Canon cameras. So, you know what? Let me introduce you to these young people. And I've met so many young, passionate guys who've helped me 100%, to be able to make the dream come true. They'll work with me for every interview. They'll help and support. And even when I'm feeling discouraged, they're there. They're young, younger than me significantly, but so encouraging as well. But as I said, when you overthink it, you'll not do it. So that's
Yeah.
just how it is.
That's beautiful. And I think also when you're talking, I'm just hearing how community has a big part to play. God just doesn't ask you to do something and then you're on your own to do it. He probably has someone around you that can help you in one or two, three things if you just ask, or if you just like share your dream. The fact that you just shared your literal dream to someone, they're like, let me record, let's
And they
make it come
believe in
alive.
you and they help you.
Wow.
But then the one thing about community, as you say, it's the one thing that we should all remain humble, even as we are becoming more ambitious.
Yeah.
Because that community is what you need. It's very often that young people, you get to a point where you become ambitious and maybe you make a you succeed. The probabilities that you'll succeed, the highest chances are that. But you still need that community.
Yeah.
And you have to remain grounded.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even had this promotion with a friend this weekend. We were a group of ladies and we met. And I think we're talking about the individualism that exists in our lives today. And sometimes you forget that you have to live in you have to coexist with people. It's a whole ecosystem. And sometimes because you can self-elevate so much, and you say, okay, I'm ambitious, and you're in a setup of people, and fine, they help you with the ambition. Maybe they could not have reached their own ambitions as well, but you reached yours at the peak of what you thought you have. And then when you do, you get to a point of almost forgetting of the community of the people, or you start feeling like you're better and you know them, you know better, and you know that kind of thing. You have to remain grounded, because then that community, the one that has been with you, that stuck with you, of course, there's the chances that some of them will just go away with their own, time, and things just fade out with people and whatever. But you have to, that community still is the one that should keep you grounded and humble.
And I really believe in what you're saying, because I also am a big believer that the things we're called to do, the first people who are going to be impacted is the community. So once you feel your community, your close circle, they're the ones who are probably the ones most inspired. They needed to hear it. They need to hear it from you because they know you, and this thing you're setting up is mainly for them. So when you get to a place where you're thinking, now my success means I need to look for only the global ones or only this ones outside, you're actually missing out on giving that valuable thing to your own community. I really believe that we are made for each other. So the community that you have around you, they're there for a reason. You're to get something from them, learn from them. Yeah, I really believe what you're saying. Last question on this like money conversation. We also have, I'd like to call it like a money trap idea that's going on for women and for men. I feel that people think their ambitions are not worth pursuing if they cannot see the finances now, or like say I want to work on this for 1 year max. till I start getting money from this Inspiring Revolution podcast. Like
Yeah.
something like that. You want to start something, but you already have this idea of luxury or money for it to be successful. I like that you're sharing that you have been in this Women Today journey and show for long. And it's not about that you're making money or you're doing this, it's about that you're fulfilling a greater need. The ambition is validated not just by money. So I'm curious for you to tell us a little about that. Have you had to actually get to places where you've broken down that mindset? Maybe you had it and you realized it and you're like, no, this matters. I don't know. Let's share your story.
Let me tell you, even as you speak, I am in the middle of a breakdown. Because as much as I have the podcast, as I said to you before, on the side, is I also do events, and I'm trying to upskill. I'm planning an event. There's no money. The cost of living is high.
I hear you.
The cost of living is high. I don't have a sponsorship. I would wish to invite the whole world to come to this forum and just be with me and whatever. Thing is, there's a charge to everything. People have to eat when they're at your event. People have to take water or something, and I don't know, there's just a lot that goes inside an event that people might not know, and the planning and the behind the scenes. And you get to even interact with people who you think should help you, or maybe you feel like, oh, maybe this organization can and this can, and you just keep hearing no, no, no. But you have the day, the time, and everything set, and you have an agenda, and you have your why. My gosh, you become like you have moments. I've had moments I call my mom and I'm asking, why am I just not a normal girl who just sits at home?
What are these dreams for?
And what are these dreams for? Like, why do I have to be a dreamer? Like, I just want to switch off this button. And she's there telling me, advising me and saying, once you start, you don't stop. You just don't give up. You just don't. And it's true. Even if I try to say today, cancel, I'll feel like a failure to my own self. Even. So the why is what keeps me going even when there's no way. And I think even from the other events that I've done, and I really haven't gotten the sponsorship needed, the things needed here and there, somehow things have just worked out. And you have same community and also people who have gotten interest in what I do based on the gap that I have seen, right? So I'm trying to feed a gap of between the women leader at the top and the women at the grassroots level. I'm trying to feed society generationally, not just thinking of today, but how we're empowering the next generation of people coming in and out. I'm trying to make social media also a space that is very, I don't know, PG friendly. You can have conversations that any generation hearing can also feel okay. There's just good content you can share on TVs and anywhere as it goes. But your question being around the many years I've done it, I would say I've had times, even like for now, I think I've taken a long break. I'm now getting back to it. There are days where you do vision does not necessarily fit of my bills and to pay my bills. But I've had moments of doing it because I've said it a long time ago. And there are days I ask myself, so where is this going? And what am I planning to achieve? When should I? When? It's a when scenario. And I've had people who've come and talked to me and wanted to make the space bigger. People wanted to partner with me, and along the way, they haven't necessarily given up, but I haven't been able to agree on the terms with some people here and there on some things, and that's because I know my why and my purpose. So even though sometimes there's been fallouts, there's been contracts that I haven't signed, there's been a lot of things here and there, there's been lots of setbacks and breaks where sometimes I take a break and then I say, how will I even tell people I've come back? I just look like I'm crazy on this. Take a break, come back. Some people will meet me and now that's become my brand. And then it's like, you haven't seen anything forward. You haven't invited us forward. I'm thinking, oh, I need to get back to this. If only they knew how hard this is. But you go on. You don't stop. As long as you know your why. And you just keep centering yourself the way you began it. You continue. And sometimes, if I'm being honest, I honestly think the vision changes, it expands.
Yes.
You see, when I started Women Today, all I was doing was one thing. I was just feeding a gap of making sure there's communication between a leader and younger ones who want to achieve a certain level of leadership. Then I grew to doing events, and then I grew to now trying to upskill, and I have more dreams that I don't know whether I should say here or not, but as you keep doing it, the journey keeps opening up and you keep wanting to do more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then that means that you can't stop, because you keep seeing the gap,
Yeah.
you keep seeing the issue, and the society changes, everything is changing, and with times you have to keep changing with your vision, and your vision also changes with you.
Yeah.
And your vision needs to be bigger than you. It can't just be you. Like, it can't be that you're the center. I'm not trying to run Women Today show so that every time it's just about me.
Yeah.
So I moved from actually just not me every time in a conversation with someone as a host to now events. And from there, I give other young people the opportunity. I'm like, yeah, host this for me, plan this with me, do this with me, that kind of thing. And now more people also discover their vision in the course of doing it and in supporting you.
Yeah.
And so things grow with time, and as you change and as you grow and continue, the vision doesn't stop. It just grows.
I agree with that. And I love then what you've said is it's not money that validates your ambition, it's your why. And the why will also keep growing. And I really am also a big believer that when the why is growing, you're probably then doing it well. It can't be that the same why, it was just like fixated. It needs to expand because it means you're probably now seeing that, okay, in one or the other, I'm satisfying this, but I want to satisfy this need even further and even further. So I really believe when your why is growing, you're onto something great. That's amazing.
Or rather, also for you to grow that why, you have to stay more informed and awake and present
about the thing that
about
you're.
the thing, because you can almost do something. For example, for me, I did, and that's something I've come to discover also. I did a lot of things, and also we tried to get into communities to support a project in Mukuru Kwanjegas. I remember we tried to do things and try and do a book drive here and there. Like, I remember that, and then also mixed with women. The idea is big, and there's so much you want to do. And then I remember I won an award, Zuri Awards, at some point, and it felt like the right part in the back. But you see, to some people, I think I realized at that time, you can almost stop. Like, you say, I've done it, and then there
I've
was
gotten
this.
there. It's
That
enough.
means I was doing right, and
Yeah.
then it's enough. It's not like the word was a lot, but you know what I mean. Or at the end of an event, I realized sometimes at the end of an event, you can finish an event and you're so tired and you're so overwhelmed and you have so much, and then you decide to just stop.
Yeah.
And you don't even know how to plan the next and the next, but you have to keep going. You just have to keep going, and you have to be open to know what's next. Like, what can I do, what can I, and you read, you engage with people, you put yourself online, you talk as much with people, network, engage, and then the idea just keeps growing.
Yeah. So lock in into whatever it is you're trying to build. It's not a one off, or there is a mark and then when you hit it you're like, it's okay now. Not lock in to whatever you're trying to build. That's beautiful. My final questions here are, there's this thing with ambitions and relationships. The friendships, have you found that they change? We talked a little about this when you talked about not forgetting your community, but is there another side, except from not you forgetting your community? Is there sometimes where the friendships, some have to go? What is the situation that maybe you've had, your personal experience with ambition, your ambitions, and the relationships around you?
Sometimes podcasts can get you in trouble.
They're exposing you.
Then you have to just talk about really what you're thinking, and somebody else will watch and say, she's talking about me.
I know she's talking about me.
But if I'm being honest, relationships and ambition will really be a trigger if you let it be, or if you don't get to a point of handling your emotional, and also yourself and everything else well. Because I told you I wasn't always the go-getter.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the way, just life starts redefining itself for me, and I appreciate and take it all in. I've gone through an experience where people see you now differently, and it's a new way of looking at you, and it's almost, some will not believe it's you, and it's almost like and then you'll get to see people's real hearts and minds and thoughts. You really will. And you also come to a point, even yourself, in terms of relating to others. I came to learn that I have a fear, and that fear has been the fear of actually me myself coming out. Because then I am afraid of what that means and what I will lose in the process. You get to a point of just being afraid of even being seen. I don't know how to describe it, and yet you're online, because that for me, even for me, it was a fear. I'm like, oh my god, I'm trying to do things, and I want to protect my space, and at the same time I want to just be in, but you have to be seen. And then you get to a point also where you're afraid of what the who you are. You're afraid of who you are because you come to see who you are is so greater than what even you perceive yourself, and it's like you can't handle it. I don't know how to describe it. This is something I'm just learning.
Yeah.
And then you also wonder how everybody else around you will handle it, and you're afraid to show yourself because you don't want to lose relationships, friends, and everything else. And also with that, your friendships grow and become different,
Yeah.
because then also your way of thinking and way of doing things become different, and you find yourself. I haven't been in a place where I've actually just not been friends with someone directly, but just things just, you know, fine. I don't know. It's just you start thinking and doing and acting differently, and the things, the right people will stay, and the ones who are not will just find their way and go out. And also relationships with not just platonic, but then there's also relationships with others. I'm actually a very single lady, as of today. I won't say my age, but I'm in my 30s. And in society today, being in your 30s and single is just frowned upon in a way, and it's like, and I haven't had an issue, for example, meeting people, but the ambition that can be new sometimes can scare away the other gender.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, because a person who's scared of that then might not be the right fit, and you just have to make that decision. And it might scare them or make them afraid, directly, indirectly, but it's that thing of most times the men want to have more power on things. I have no problem. My kind of women empowerment and feminism, actually, this is, how do I put it? It's controversial for many people to think it, because I think when I say I'm a woman empowerment, leader, advocate, and all that, people just see me as, oh my gosh, she's about to tell us not to give birth, not to cook, not to what. Like it's like, oh no, no,
Extreme
she's a feminist.
feminism.
That kind of feminist. And I'm like, no, 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 I can't tell you how to lead your life. Mine is just telling women, man, we can do this, and let's reach our fullest potential. But sometimes the perception people will have of you when you talk about these things, from your friends circle to the other circles, and boys and all these men and everything else, they're just like, oh gosh, no. And then too, they just feel sometimes it's a fear of, they fear, you're afraid of who you are and who you'll become. And you can't work on such fears. You can't move and live in fear. And sometimes I'm coming to a point of learning to master things around that, like decision making wise, not to let that affect anything. I think I'm so, it's not like I've achieved, but I'm so grounded. I'm a different person in different places. In the office, when I have to appear as this, I'll be that. When I have to be calm, I'll be calm. When I'm home, my family knows me very differently. In fact, if my parents, siblings were sitting here, they're like, "Who is that again?" You know, like it's I don't know how to put it. So sometimes relationships will change, but at the same time you also have to change as yourself also. And there's a way to also look at things, because you can almost sideline everybody and lack understanding and put everybody away and think this is not part of this, is it, and then you're trying to show a certain personality that you are okay. So for example, I've done this psychological, what do you call it, I forget it, but basically knowing your colors. So there's I come out as clarity 4D, it's called something like that. I am at work, I come out as a red and yellow because I need to. I'm in marketing, I'm in comms, I'm in PR, I need to be at the front, I need to, but then I'm actually mostly introverted when I'm home. It's like so you can't show up with your vision on this, because you'll affect, what I'm just trying to say is, you'll affect relationships if every time because a vision makes you become something that maybe you were not before. And if you keep showing up a certain way and being so on the defense and everything else with everyone, you can almost lose people. But you have to have deep understanding, deeper insight. You have to have wisdom, and that's something that comes out when you ask for it and reach out and try harder and harder. Otherwise, you will lose out on so much in the name of your vision, and then that your vision becomes, I don't know.
You even despise it,
You despise
maybe.
it,
Yeah. I think you're saying a lot there, especially the topic of wisdom and relationships versus your own ambitions is is a major, major topic. I liked that. I think my take home from what you've shared is specifically, if you don't know yourself, if you yourself are fearing aspects of who you're becoming and you're afraid, what will this do and what will this, then because you are working, already you're working with yourself, your relationship with yourself is from a point of fear, probably it's going to be perceived like that from other people. They're going to be more, they're going to probably reject who you're trying to become because you yourself have not accepted it. So the more you accept who you are, who you're becoming, and that you can be different people in different spaces, then you're going to better your relationships even as you're pursuing your ambitions. That's amazing. That was my last question for you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Please share with the audience, where can they find you at, especially Women Today Show and things like that. Where can they find you at and follow you? Yeah.
All right. First of all, thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure's all
I
mine.
like to talk and I will talk forever. Thanks for the space to hope this inspires, encourages, and motivates anyone. That's actually just my purpose also. And so thank you all viewers for staying tuned till now. So with Women Today Show, you can find me on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, but I'm mostly very active on LinkedIn. So you can write to us on email, you can call us. Like, we are very much available to have conversations, to talk, to see how to partner. Maybe we can have a conversation as well. So welcome and thank you. And I don't know what else to say.
Thank you so much. And that was it for this episode. Thank you so much to our guest, Christian. Check her out and see you next episode. Bye.
Bye.